Welcome everybody to Sharing Soulful Stories. Today I'm here with Shola Arewa. Welcome, Shola.
Hi.
And let me tell everyone a little bit more about what it is that you get up to. Shola is the founder and director of Energy for Life Wellness Coach Training. She's a mentor for coaches, yoga teachers, and therapists. She is an award-winning coach, an author, and an international speaker on all things energy and wellness. She is passionate about helping you get your energy back and your life on track. Oh, that's a great little phrase there at the end. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome. And as you know, this is all about opening up a conversation around spirituality. And I would love to open with the question, what does spirituality mean to you?
Ooh, well, that's a broad question. What does it mean to me? For me, spirituality is really, for myself personally, it's about being in alignment. So it's about kind of listening to that deeper voice inside, kind of above, around. It's kind of really tapping into something that is more than, something that is kind of more than myself. So for me, it's about that. It's about trust. It's about faith. It's about listening, kind of all of those things. And I'm kind of, for me, it really is about faith. And in that, I don't define spirituality kind of really tight, because I think it's so many different things to so many different people. And it is all of that for me as well, if that makes sense. I kind of honor all of that.
I love that. I love all sorts of broad descriptions that can actually fulfill what a lot of people have as their own sense and understanding of it. And that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. But what I'm curious about to ask you next is having this sense of that, that the inner, the outer, the bigger, the all around that you describe spirituality as being. Have you always felt that spirituality was part of your life, or is that a new discovery?
Yeah, I think spirituality has always been part of my life. It's always been kind of the essence of who I am and part of who I am. But have I always been aware of that? No. No. I mean, I had my kind of moment of transformation and real shift in my life. I give thanks because it was quite early. I think it was early. I was in my kind of early 20s, which for me is a long time ago.
I would not know that. That does not look like a long time.
My early 20s is a really long time ago. So for me, it was, that kind of shift and that transformation was early in my life. So I've had that opportunity to live from that place for, a very long time. And I give thanks for that. But certainly my kind of younger years and my childhood and my kind of teens, I wasn't thinking about spirituality. I used to go to church and sing and play my tambourine and stuff. But I don't think I had a sense of what spirituality really is, no.
And I wonder, would you be willing to share what that was that occurred in your early 20s that opened you to this new way of seeing spirituality?
Yeah, I think what happened for me, I had a fashion business. So I had a successful fashion business in my kind of late teens, early 20s. And that was huge for me because that helped me kind of understand that I could do whatever I kind of put my mind to. And that was important for me because of my childhood, where I'd been led to believe, I'd always been told you can do whatever you put your mind to, but I wasn't really seeing that in my childhood. I wasn't the kind of author of my own life. It was always, doing what other people want me to do. And it never really looked like me, if you like. And so when I was old enough to determine things for myself more, I set up this fashion business, and it was very successful. And it taught me that I could do whatever I put my mind to. But after 3 or 4 years of that, I guess I had kind of proved that already, and I was living this kind of fast-paced life and, partying hard, and I was enjoying it. It was my purpose at that time. But I reached a point where I really felt that there must be more to life. It wasn't fulfilling me in the way that it had at the beginning. And so although people thought I was a little bit on the crazy side, although people thought I was cutting my lifeline, although people thought, why have you built all of this and you're going to let it go? I decided to walk away from it. And I told people I was going to go away for 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years.
Oh.
Yep. And that's because I wanted to cover all the bases in case I came straight back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
But as it happened, I didn't. I stayed away for 2.5 years, and I spent time, I spent 1.5 years of that time in India. Wow. This is in the very early 80s. I became a yoga teacher in 1985.
Wow.
And that whole journey kind of afforded me a chance to really take a mirror journey and look at myself and see parts of me that I really did not like at all. And to see parts of myself that I could develop to a place where I could really fall in love with myself or fall back in love. I think we start out, babies, we're well in love with ourselves.
Why wouldn't you love us?
Exactly. So falling back into that place. And so I think that whole journey was a huge transformation for me. And for me, transformation means you can never go back. You can change things. If you change something, you can unchange it as well. So it can change again. But transformation for myself is something that it changes so much that there is no going back. And so that's how it was for me. And so when I came back from that journey, everything was different. How I wanted to show up in the world was different. How I wanted to live my life was different.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And wow, I love that you covered all bases, but that you actually
exactly
found something that, that really was lighting you up when you went on that sort of discovery journey. And now, would you share your spirituality story with us? How is it? What's unfolded since then? Any highs and lows that stand out that you would like to share?
I think since that time, for me, what I really wanted to do was to kind of live a deeper purpose for myself and to make a bigger difference. And I think that's what I really wanted to do when I first came back. Now, the only issue was when I first came back, I didn't really know how to do that. And so I know, I hold my hands up. When I first came back, I thought I was the Buddha and that I had the meaning of life for all of us. Just do this, everybody. And so, of course, I did not have the skill that it took to kind of share with others. And that's what really caused me, two things. What really caused me to study psychology was I had made such a huge shift myself that I wanted to understand what had happened. Like, my God, girl, like high heel, finger clicking person, that I was before, and now I just want to sit around cross-legged, like in a meditation. Like, I had really completely changed. And so, I started to really study transformation and to really study facilitation and sacred ritual and different ways that I could support other people. And so from that time, really, my life has been, I would say, kind of dedicated to supporting other people to really transform their lives. And so that whole thing was the biggest change. And I think if I sort of look at what my highs and lows are, most of my lows were way before that time. And kind of, from then on, I think I can actually really, honestly say my life has just soared since then. I mean, one thing that might be useful for people is which is about kind of expansion, because you're in Australia. So I remember a time when I was working and I was writing a kind of like a little blurb. You know, when you write, I'm Caroline Shola Arewa, and I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm a therapist, and I'm a whatever. And I think at that time I hadn't written my first book yet. And so I'd worked in a couple of other countries in Europe, but I wanted to kind of step into something a bit bigger, a bit larger. So on this blurb, I also wrote Caroline Shola Arewa, yoga teacher, therapist, and international speaker. And it was kind of like a really big thing because it felt like a real stretch to say that. It was true. I had worked, you know, in France and in Greece. That's international for UK.
Yeah.
But it felt like I was moving beyond my comfort zone just saying that. And then what happened was the very next day, I went down to my post box, and I'm talking about handwritten letter days, not email days.
Love it. I can still remember.
Going back a few.
Yeah.
This is going back a few years. So I went to my front door and I received a letter. And when I opened up that letter, I was being invited to come and speak in Australia.
Oh, I just love that. I love that. That's like that manifestation magic at its like most brilliant. Yep, I'm willing to step into this. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, that was really, really kind of special moment.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question for you is, and I loved your opening description of spirituality, so I have some sense of what you might say here, but I'm going to ask anyway, how do you weave spirituality through your life and your work?
Yeah. You probably do know what I'm going to say. Wow. Well, for me, it has to be. I mean, how I live my life and how my life lives me is kind of spirit first. I mean, it really is, because I don't know an easier way to live life than spirit first. It just creates so much ease. It just makes everything, it elevates everything. So for me, my kind of, you know, I've just been writing okay, let me go back a bit. So every Monday I have a group called Wellness Revolutionaries. Yep. For people who want to be the change and lead the change. It's a Facebook group. Now, every Monday I do a Facebook Live that I call, what do I call it? It's called Mindful Monday. And I've literally just been writing a Mindful Monday about being your best self and really kind of, you know, really showing up, really stepping into your fullness, your richness, your greatness, and kind of really being all that you truly are. Now, with all of that preamble, I think I forgot the question. What did you ask me?
It was perfect. That's awesome. No, I asked you, how do you weave spirituality through your life?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how that gives you another clue to how long I've been doing this, because some of those synapses already kind of
honestly,
so
you could still be in your early 20s as far as I could tell. So life's treating you very kindly.
Life's treating me extremely kindly. So what I'm always sharing and what is really important to me in terms of spirit first is about kind of being clear about how you use your time. And if needed, creating boundaries. So for myself, my kind of mornings are exactly that. They're my mornings. So in the mornings, I'll do my meditation, I write in my journal, I'll go and do my Ashtanga yoga. Just whatever, you know, spirit needs me to be doing. So I'm really clear about that time that is for staying on purpose, you know, staying aligned, staying connected. And that is also a very creative time. And it just serves everything else and just makes it so much easier. So for me, you know, of course, spirituality and our spirit is in any moment, but I also kind of really carve that time out as well.
I love that. I do. I see that theme coming through where people are almost like, this allows me to empty the noise a little bit and really listen. And as you say, that bring, allow spirit to lead. I love that as a phrase, to be honest. I've been handing over my scheduling to spirit because this whole thing has been a bit of a minefield to organize, and it has been doing, as you say, it's been doing a much better job than I could, and it's much more easeful to just go, thank you for that. That person rescheduled, perfect timing, because I need to do this right now. So that's just been amazing.
That's right.
Love that.
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
Right. That's how it works.
That's it.
That's how it works.
For those listeners that are a little further from that, believing that even can happen, what advice would you share to somebody that is newer to exploring their spirituality?
I think you have to, well, certainly for myself, it was recognizing that something's missing. You know, like really, that's part of the mirror journey, and being honest and recognizing that something is missing. So for myself, the time that I spent in India, I remember I was staying up in the hills, and I used to walk down every morning and walk through an ashram because it was a shortcut. So I kind of walked through the ashram to the town. This particular day, I walked through the ashram and I heard all of this chanting. And so I sat down at the back. There were lots of women at the front chanting. I sat down at the back, and I just found myself kind of tearing up and crying, and just, I don't know, something just kind of shifted and moved in me. I didn't really know what was happening. It was early in my journey, but I did know in that moment, I realized that these women, they had something that I didn't have. And whatever it is that they have, that's what I want. And so I recognized in that moment, and I couldn't have named it. I didn't know what it was. I don't know where you go finding it. I don't know what it is. It's not about needing to know, but just recognizing that something is missing. Something is not in alignment. Something isn't right. Some things are too difficult. Things are too clunky. You know, when we reach that place in life where we don't have ease, I mean, I actually say if we're not creating ease in our lives, we're creating dis-ease. You know, so if we're in that place, then we know that something is missing. And when we can accept that, when we can acknowledge that for ourselves, then we can start opening to spirit. Then we can start kind of welcoming something greater than us into our lives. So for me, it really starts with that honesty and just being honest with ourselves. You know, something here is not right. Let me offer that up. You know, let me request something more than me in support.
I love that. I love that. That's exactly what I needed to hear when I was feeling that, you know, life feels overwhelming and it's hard work and there's got to be more than this, and all of those sort of feelings that can come up with living in a place where you're totally out of alignment. It's just something
that's right.
Ain't right. Oh,
that's right. That's right.
That's right. Beautiful. Thank you. So for those that are now curious to learn more about you, maybe to get involved with your Facebook group or find out more about your work, can you share a bit more about what it is that you do and how they can go about finding you?
Well, wow. A lot of one of the ways that people find me actually is through my first book that is called Opening to Spirit.
Perfect.
And yeah, through the book that's called Opening to Spirit. And actually the book's about chakras. It's about energy. It's about mythology. It has so many different things in there. So that's one of the ways. I'm always on Facebook. I love Facebook. So I always kind of show up on Facebook. I mean, I'm not a Twitter person. I'm there, but you won't really find me there. But I'm definitely, on Facebook, Instagram. So my name on those, though, is Shola Caroline Arewa.
Okay.
So I always put the Shola part first on that social media. My name's Caroline Shola Arewa, but I just switch it up on there. And I always go by Shola as well. So I'm over there. Where else am I? My website, I'm going to make that real easy as well. That's just shola.co.uk.
Love it.
So that's shola.co.uk. So yeah, I show up there. And yeah, I think they're the kind of main places where, if people want to continue the conversation, then yeah, they're going to find me in those places.
Fantastic. And I think I'll have all those links underneath the video. Did you also want to mention the little freebie link that you gave me to include, the energy life hacks or something it was called, wasn't it? 10 life hacks.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I have that. I wanted to offer that to your kind of listeners and viewers because I like things that we can do anywhere, anytime. So really kind of quick things that make a difference. That's where we are. I think now we want things that we can implement quickly and we can get results quick. And so I did create this 10 life hacks for raising energy and rocking 2019. And so it really gives you 10 simple things that you could do to kind of make a difference. And as you say, we have the link for that below. And that's my gift to you.
Oh, thank you so much for offering that and for being here and for your time and for everything that you've shared today. I'm really grateful that we connected and that we had this opportunity to include your story here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to thank you, for what you're doing and sharing these stories with people so that they can kind of take that journey and, just have a greater of everything that's available to us. So thank you so much for that, Jo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll say bye for now. Thanks then.
Okay.